Well, by now you know the drill, right? You will write a long essay on a separate day by hand in class. We're not giving you the question and you will not be able to bring in note cards, but I will give you one more hint. The question will explore the spread of Buddhism. Think about what changes and what stays the same, that is, the continuity, in Buddhist art and architecture. How do these works promote Buddhist beliefs and practices? And how do they reflect not only Buddhism, but also the specific cultural context of their region? There will be no matching questions on the test. You already took matching quizzes. There will be a number of questions from the review quizzes up on Moodle. And this time you will also write a 15-minute short essay in which you'll be asked to attribute a work you haven't seen to its culture and then to compare it with a required work. It's going to be one of your Islamic art paintings. I've warned you that these manuscript pages are popular sources for AP questions, so know them. Okay, there are lots of works in this unit, and the religious context is new to many of you. Hang in there, but study, okay? You all recognize this image, right? Where is it located? What religious tradition is it associated with? What ruler commissioned the work? What spiritual activity largely took place in this site? In other words, how did the worshipers perform their act of worship? What other works you've studied involve the same ritual? What's the primary function of the building? What other Buddhist works did it influence? This image appears on more than one older AP test, and while it's not a required image for the new curriculum, I think it could still show up on a test from the new curriculum, so I've kept a few of these questions. What kind of an object is this? What was its primary function in Muslim worship? What artistic features do you see on the work? And, hint, what features do you not see on this or any other work of religious Islamic art, at least Islamic art that appears in a mosque? By the way, I should note that I have not yet decided which old questions to take out, which new review questions to put in, so not all of these will necessarily appear on the test, but you should know them. What important influence did this building have on Islamic architecture? What are the visual characteristics of Kufic script? How would you describe it? Note that the calligraphy on the bowl at the bottom left is also Kufic. On the right, you see more curved and flowing Arabic calligraphy that's associated especially with the Ottomans and the Persians. How is Kufic script, or for that matter, all Arabic and Hebrew, read? Here are some general multiple choice questions. They're not hard. Here's another AP favorite. It was one of the images on the 2013 test. That's before the new curriculum. But it's appeared in other years as well. And of course, it's now on our list of required works. So what is it? Where is it located? What's its purpose? What material is it built out of? What are those four tall towers? And hint, do not let those towers confuse you about the purpose of this building. See that large arched opening and the smaller arched openings? They open into the courtyard and are part of a building added onto the central rectangle dome plan. What's the term for these rooms? You've seen them in the Mosque of Isfahan as well. What is the whole complex, including its elaborate pools and gardens, intended to represent and symbolize? What do Tibetans believe about the origin of this statue? There are several questions about this work. It might be worth rewatching the Khan Academy video. How do we know that the work was really important to the artist? What might have been its original use? How do we know that originally it served a secular as opposed to a religious function? What was the meaning of this erotic sculpture to Hindu worshippers? I talked about this in my Hindu art podcast. There will also be several questions about this work, since it's a previous AP favorite that also made it onto the required works list. So what's the purpose of the room on the upper left and other enclosed spaces in mosques? What does this architectural feature, what architectural feature does this particular room exhibit? What's the name of the part of the arch that's striped, the part leading up to the keystone? What term is used to describe this particular kind of arch, so typical of Muslim architecture? And what purpose do those double arches serve? How did the architects borrow from the Roman architectural heritage? How was this building altered when Catholic Christians reconquered the city? How was this structure's exterior decorated? What was this carpet made of? Remember, we're looking for the primary material and not the material of the underlying warp and weft. I talked about it in my podcast. It's a material that held its color especially well. I also talked about how this architect was trying to one-up Hagia Sophia and the Byzantines. A hint, the viewer did not enter the garden. Another hint, this is a Vairocana Buddha, the cosmic Buddha. What common element of Islamic artistic tradition does this work's decoration exhibit? The answer is clear from this photo, but the title and not the photo might be on the exam. These two images appear together in some questions. What political purpose did the temple on the bottom serve for the rulers who built it? What other work, not shown here, has a similarly ornately carved exterior? Here's the floor plan for the upper temple from the previous slide. Why does it have such a narrow interior? Think about the Temple of Amun-Re and how it narrows to smaller and darker passages. What was the function of this building? And you need to know the Japanese term for it. What do these works have in common? So here's an accept question about this. The architectural feature of this building gives the answer. Here are some more general multiple choice questions. Again, not all these questions will appear on the final test. I'm still deciding which review questions to incorporate. This is another College Board favorite that's back on the list. What's housed here and what significance does it have to Muslims? And you need to know the religious narrative that goes with this. What are the characteristics of Persian manuscript paintings or miniatures? What makes them different from other Islamic works? What story is this painting telling? How would you describe the mood and style of the painting? What are these designs? What do they portray? What are they called? And how do two cultures combine in this work? What are the European elements? Good luck.